Okay, I'm back again. This time, this short video is going to have a look at a claim, and again, I'm loath to call things lies, but I do call this a lie because it's so easily verifiable. And there's one particular lie in this, insidious lie. And these lies, like the one that I spoke about before, where these flat earth evangelists go out and try to convince people that the earth is flat and then tell them lies in order to try and convince them, so they get unsuspecting people on the street who aren't going to check things straight away, so they feel like it doesn't matter if you tell them a lie, the end justifies the means, and it's unlikely these people will look things up. They'll just simply accept this lie and then repeat it themselves to someone else. Well, this is what they hope will happen. However, people who have thought about the earth being a sphere and are serious and really want to know the answers would look it up and should look it up. So let's have a look at this particular claim. Okay, so this claim is that there's no curvature, or you can't find curvature of the earth. Okay, well, I would say this: if you think you can't find the curvature of the earth, then you're not looking. All the way back from experiments that were done, Eratosthenes, and so many other experiments that have been repeated since, and so many other phenomena that you can see with your own eyes, prove that the earth is spherical. Not only that it's spherical, but it actually spins about its axis. Okay, but let's have a look at this particular lie that's claimed quite often in the amongst the evangelical lot, like that lot going around Europe now. So they say things like, boats that go over the horizon can be brought back with P900, as if this is some magical camera. Actually, just quietly, it's a pretty average piece of equipment. Okay? So if you want to really get serious about photography, I'll probably choose something a bit different today. Now, let's say you do have one of those, and you zoom in on a boat that is heading over the horizon, and you notice that the hull has gone and all you can see is the mast, and then if you keep looking, you'll notice that even the mast goes as well. This is because the earth is a sphere. It's heading over the horizon. Okay, now, no camera, once that's happened, will bring it back. This claim that you can bring it back, then get a more powerful camera, get a more powerful zoom, and then it'll come back, is absolute garbage. Again, this fellow named Dave Murphy on this Global Eye Tour is one who repeats this a lot, and it is patently a lie. Okay? And then he and others lie even further by saying that they have done the experiments that show that the boat will come back after it's gone over the horizon. This is despite the fact that they can actually see numerous accounts where people have taken photographs and, for instance, seen a lighthouse or a windmill, a wind turbine out at sea, where you can only see the blades. So in other words, most of the turbine is not possible to be seen because of the curve. Now, it doesn't matter how much zoom you have, you are not going to see any more than the blades of the turbine. Okay, now this is something that's verifiable. They can do this themselves, they can look at how others have done it, they can look at other accounts of this being done. So to assert that this will not happen, or this is got to do with light or perspective, is absolute nonsense. It's more than nonsense. It's a lie. Okay, so again, I said I don't make that claim lightly. I'm more inclined to be generous and call things a mistake. That's not a mistake in this case. Okay. They ignore atmospheric refraction when it suits them. Let's think about this particular instance where there's a photograph, a very famous flat Earth photograph of Chicago across the lake from Michigan. And the weather reporter describes this as a mirage, a superior mirage, which is true. Now, at any time that you go there, you will not see, on a clear day, you will not see Chicago across from the lake. You can look as much as you like, you will not see it. It takes special conditions for this mirage to happen. If indeed the Earth was flat, or this distance between across the lake to Chicago was indeed flat, and this was flat water, you would see this all the time. Maybe you would see, maybe it would be hazy on some days. Maybe it would be difficult to see on some days. But you certainly would be able to see. You'd definitely be able to see the silhouette of the buildings. But you can't. Most of the time, you can't. It takes a special occasion when the cool air and the hot air is just right that you get to see this mirage. So this is a lie, and they keep repeating this lie, even though they know that it's a lie. Okay, this is not being mistaken. I'm sorry, but I cannot be generous with this one. Okay. They make approximations without taking elevation as a factor. So the great formula that's being used that describes the curvature of the Earth and how much you should see is almost universally used by the flat Earth community as this 8" in the miles with the per mile squared. Okay, now this is another lie. Yes, it is an approximation, but they will not tell you this. Okay, this is actually a parabola. So it has very limited use if you are describe something that's circular. Again, if you're talking about something that's over 100 kilometers, then this is going to be inaccurate just on that alone. Let's talk about stuff that's less than 100 kilometers. The problem is they don't take elevation into account. That is deliberate. That's not a mistake, because that's been pointed out to them time and time again, and yet they still make this same claim. They say you can see things that are too far, 30, 60, 100 kilometers, and yet they have not taken elevation into account. If you get in a helicopter and watch the sunset, let's say before you get in the helicopter, you start looking at the sunset, you're on the ground. You see the sun dip below the horizon and the sun is effectively gone. You cannot see the sun anymore. Well, you can get in a helicopter and rise up and you'll see the sun again. It won't have changed its angular size, You can hover over it for a while and the sun will go down again. You will not be able to see it. Go up another several thousand feet and you will see the sun in total again. And again, it will not have changed its angular size. Your elevation is allowing you to see further and further. I am not describing something that is difficult to understand. You are not making a mistake. You are telling a lie. This has been explained to you many, many times, and your willful ignorance is based on the fact that you are telling a lie, and probably telling yourself a lie. If you want to be taken seriously, you need to stop doing that. Okay. They ignore proper curvature calculations that include the observer's elevation. So there are actual proper formulas that you can use that take into account the elevation of the observer. And in every single instance, they match the expected height that you'd expect if this was a sphere. And of course, because it is a sphere, then that's why these predictions match exactly. Your claim that they don't is a lie. It is not a mistake. I'm not prepared to be generous and call it a mistake when you have been told time and time again, you can check this yourself. Now, just because you are repeating someone else's lie does not absolve you from the lie yourself. If you are too lazy to find out for yourself and therefore repeat other people's lies, you are effectively lying yourself. And again, why are you wasting all of that money going through Europe, proselytizing, and within your proselytizing, telling lies? Lies that can be shown to be lies. And then you expect to be taken seriously. Well, there are people who know how to check these things. In fact, most people can do that. And they'll know that you're lying. The first time they check, they'll know that you're lying. So why are you doing this? Take my advice. If you want to be taken seriously, then take yourself seriously. Stop lying to yourself. Okay? Look at the issue with seriousness, with reliability, with credibility. Then other people will listen to you because you may have some good ideas. But your good ideas will be lost because of your ridiculous, willful, ignorant lies. Stop doing it.